Alright, so, not long ago, I uploaded a video called Elden Ring, New Game versus Max Level.
Yes.
This video here was meant to be a spiritual successor to it, but in Dark Souls 3. What I did here was use some saucy software, that was hard to say, to max out my character's strength, and a mod so I could buy any item I wanted. The plan was to do a mainly strength based character, and be an absolute unit that would even challenge the legendary Giant Dad. This plan fell apart pretty quick though, so here's what happened. So, to begin with, I chose the warrior class, which, to be fair, I do usually choose anyway if I'm going with strength, as it does start with a high, well not high, but a good strength stat. In hindsight, however, that doesn't matter, since right after getting into the game, I used magical software to max out my strength stat, among others. What's that magical software, you ask? Well, let's get into this video's sponsor, Wand. No, kidding, they're definitely not sponsoring me, but it is Wand. Used to be called WeMod. Yeah, it's just a modding software really. And before WeMod it was Horizon. Back in the Modio days. But anyway, yeah. The weapon I started with in this class is the Battle Axe. Fitting, as my favourite starting class in Dark Souls 1 is also the Bandit, and they also start with that weapon. It does good damage, and scales well with strength, eventually. I say that because after upping my strength to 99, by the way, I go from doing 140 damage to a whopping 185 damage. Awesome. I've said before in other videos that the best way to up your damage in Souls games isn't to level up, but it's to upgrade your weapons. This proves that point quite well, I'd say. With that info out of the way, I get to the first boss, Champion Gundyr. Wait, no, it isn't. Edict's Gundyr. As always, he's not entirely challenging, and my axe is currently doing a solid 63 damage, with 99 strength. So, after parrying the shit out of this lad, and, you know, killing him, I make my way to Firelink Shrine, where I plunge the coiled sword into the bonfire, and head up to my little secret merchant to grab my gear. Just like Chris and Sheva in the beginning of Resident Evil 5. Now that I'm almost fully equipped, I'll address that in a minute, I head off to the High Wall of Lothric, which doesn't hold much of anything I need in this run, so I sprint through to Emma, who has a banner and a weird basin for me. Not sure why she died, must have been the wind or something. With the banner in hand, I charge into the very tough fight with Vort here. He, believe it or not, is actually weak to damage, and luckily, I'm in the business of damage. After 3 hits he goes down faster than Bonnie Blue, so I'm now able to progress through to the next area of the game. This next area, to me, honestly, seems like a bit of a tutorial area 2.0. So, again, there's not really much I need, just an NPC I need to talk to. He's Yol of Londor, and I need him for the ending. I'm currently rocking the Dragon Slayer armor. Yeah, I'm still being staggered by these dogs. This isn't good enough. With this defilement in mind, I warp back to my favourite merchant and pick up a few more items. Yeah, these are the items. How'd you like me now? With my newly equipped equipment, I progress through the Road of Sacrifices to the next main boss, the Crystal Sage. He doesn't put up much of a fight obviously, 99 strength and an OP weapon, but still, 3 hits. Dunwolf managed this without any mods or cheats, and one-shot him, so, I don't know. I am just not as good a gamer as him, I guess. With his area now besieged by me, I run through the whole next area, because again, who cares, don't need anything. And now I have access to the Cathedral of the Deep, where the deacons are. I'll admit, skipped a lot here, because again, there's nothing here to show. What did you expect to see? Me struggling with basic enemies here and there? Haha, you thought I'd cut to me dying. Nope. I have an over-leveled character, so regardless of how bad I am, I can just brute force my way through. Let's go! With the Dragon Slayer Axe's weapon art, the main deacon dude just turns stash pretty quick, to be honest. I now have a doll. So the deacon's dead, I have a doll. I got a doll, just a doll. Can't even get into painting with it. L doll. F tier doll. Just kidding, the doll's actually a good thing. I need that doll to enter I need that doll to enter Irithyll later on, so it's all good. So it's doll good. Ah, there we go. There you go, JK. Now I'm done with this whole ass area, I head back to the Road of Sacrifices and bully the Stray Demon. I just need to make sure he's aware that I'm the main character, you know, that's it. The next main boss I fight is of course the Abyss Watchers, which is a pretty fun fight, cool moveset, super reminiscent of Bloodborne, and, you know, obviously Artorias. So all bases are covered on how to produce a good boss design. Each Watcher goes down in 2 hits, so yeah, what else is there really to say? Before fighting Wolnir, I go speak to Anri in the catacombs, as I need her for the ending I want. She's lost Horus, so now I go find him. He's way down in the lake area, but he's also gone hollow. Rip, buddy. After I kill him, I pick up the moss shield and head back up to the top to inform Anri of the situation. Oh yeah, before I forget, before talking to Anri, I slap about the old Demon King. Easy fight, I just beat up a cripple. And, not only a cripple, an elderly cripple. The Ashen One does not give a shit who you are. He will send you back to Gwyn. Okay, moving on. I now need to face off against a pretty tough boss. Wolnir, as mentioned before. Here's how that went. And now I'm in Irithyll. This part here is where I needed that deacon, the doll from the deacons for. Without it I can't traverse this non-mist mist. So with the doll I can traverse it. Easy. There's actually again nothing of note in this whole area. I talked to Anri again to progress our questline and get invaded by a super powerful NPC. I told her a Jill Pancake joke from Resident Evil and she found it so funny she died of laughter. Well, it was either that killed her or me crushing her with a giant hammer, but either way. After handling her, I run through the location towards the Profane Capital. Before reaching Yorm, I realised I could actually just grab Stormruler and max it out, so guess what? I went and fought Aldrich. No. No, I went back and grabbed Stormruler and maxed it out. With a +5 Stormruler in my grasp, I head off through the Profane Capital to meet Yorm. Now, this is another section where I was actually taken aback by the lack of damage I'm doing. Yes, Yormy Wormy has one hell of a health pool, but this is a fully upgraded Stormruler that I'm smacking him with on new game. And it's barely doing any more damage than it usually does pre-upgrade. I mean, I might as well have actually just skipped grabbing one and upgrading it in favour of the time save by just using the basic old regular one in the arena. It's wild if you ask me. And to make matters worse, a little off topic, my desk might be about to fall apart. Now, getting a little meta here, I'm now sat back at my desk after having been to the hardware store for some items and my desk is now fixed. All is well. Apart from my damage that I'm doing to Yorm at this level. That sucks ass. So after whacking him more than I'd thought I'd need to, Yorm falls and I backtrack to the Pontiff area. After unlocking the shortcut, because there's always a slight chance I'll screw it up, I run to meet the lad and kick off the disrespect with a juicy parry. Now this is damage. That singular riposte dropped him down to half health and I finish him off with a few heavy R2s. Just to get that pancake going. Now that I'm in Anor Londo, I want to point out how oblivious I am. This is the first time I've realised that the direction that you turn the wheel to face, like where the handle is where the connecting bridge will be. So instead of running around the platform or waiting on the wrong side for it to connect, just go to the edge where the handle faces. I don't even bother opening the big door shortcut because again, OP weapons and character. Aldrich was surprisingly weak to my pancake damage, not gonna lie. A few of these mid to late game bosses seem to take way more damage than earlier bosses and enemies, so I don't really get that. Specifically, I'm thinking of like Crystal Sage. Yeah, it took some damage, but that's one of the first bosses in it. It took like 3 hits to kill, I think. Wild. With the third Lord Soul boss acquired, a mystical voice speaks to me and teleports me to the scene of a heinous crime that no one knows the cause of. This area is now the Dancer Arena. It's a fun fight, not much to go over. She's fast and elegant, I'm slow and bumbling. Perfect. Dance is another mid to late game boss who took sufficient damage. Damage I would have expected to be dealt the whole game, so this fight went well. I'm pretty sure I was watching something at the same time as this fight on the other screen, and the speed of her death surprised me. Like, I was paying attention to her movements, not her health bar, but suddenly she was just dead. And yeah, I was like, alright, okay. From a nice, elegant boss who took good pancake damage, I continue on to this asshole, Osiris. Either has so much fucking health, or he has strong pancake resistance, or both. After the first hit landed, I saw the damage and thought,
oh shit, here we go again.
After the slog of the naked mole rat, I grabbed the Path of the Dragon gesture for future use, and make my way to Champion Gundyr. This time it is actually Champion Gundyr, so I fight him. Solid fight, very fun, love parrying and fighting against a competent human boss. So this is, of course, one of my favourite fights in the game, because I like human bosses, humanoid bosses, whatever. Hate fighting animals. Sanctuary Guardian, piss off. Before long, Champion Gundyr 2 falls. Not Champion Gundyr number 2, Champion Gundyr, like, also falls. And now I make my way back to the castle to crash it. Dragon Slayer armor here isn't a hard boss with the number of times I've fought him, but I did actually die to him through sheer just me being an idiot. Well, it wasn't really me being an idiot, it was more just bad luck. After two shield bashes that he lands on me, he sends my ass right off the edge of the bridge. So I return to him, and with gravity in mind, I don't go near the edge of the bridge, because I'm learning. And pay more attention. This time, the one is mine. Here I am! I've somehow made it through this super challenging game, slain many tough bosses and traversed almost impossible areas, to make it to these final two lords. After a rough struggle with some ups and downs, intense scenes and many close calls, I eventually fell them both. And now I have the key souls. All the key souls. I'm the key soul master. So I head back to Anor Londo to finish the endgame setup and stab my wife in the head. Right. Anyway, after talking to the Firekeeper, I'm teleported to the kiln of the first flame, where Soul of Cinder himself resides. I got solid RNG with his attacks and these techniques, you could say. Obviously, the Sorcerer, easy peasy, and basic long greatsword, easy peasy. So yeah, not bad. I got my own strikes landed on him, and eventually painted the ground with his blood. Or ash. No wait, I'm ash. But everything here is ash. In any case, he's dead and the game's beat. Yay. Just kidding, of course. With all that done, as in the main game, I then head over to Archdragon Peak. Oh wait, this is part of the main game. Never mind, main game's not done. Either way, head over to Archdragon Peak, defeat Nameless King, go back to the kiln of the first flame, which I can then travel to the Dragheap from, fight and slay the Demon Prince there, make my way through the Ringed City, where I go meet Half-Light and his little guardian friend. That was a lot at once, actually, to be honest. It may seem like I'm rushing through the DLC. I'm not. I'm Scottish through the DLC. There's nothing to show. I didn't really fight anything in the DLC. I fought the bosses, that was it. Speaking of, Half-Light and the Guardians, dead. Easy. Down. Showed them the way of the strength, and with them banished to the Shadow Realm, I progress onwards to my favourite Dark Souls 3 boss, Gale. I mean, of course he's my favourite boss. I'm a basic bitch, don't you know? It has been years since the last time I fought Gale, so it did take me a few deaths to get his moveset back in my brain, but once it was loaded up, Matrix style, it was over for the lad. And here we are, the actual end of the game. I don't even remember, oh, Usurpation of Fire, I'm pretty sure it's called, is what this ending is. I like this ending, it's cool. Either way, yeah, that was Dark Souls 3 done with a goofy ass character. Well, you know, stats and whatnot. To summarise, did a lot less strength damage than I'd hoped I would have done. It wasn't as fun as Elden Ring's max level playthrough. And this also shows the significant differences between Dark Souls 1 and 3. Dark Souls 1 being the one I've played the most. Which I might do this as well on that. But in Dark Souls 1, Poise is king. In Dark Souls 3, Carry Rate is king. So, yeah, I don't know, it's weird. I didn't do as much damage as I expected to, like I've said about 70 times during this video. And there's not that many fun, like, over-the-top weapons to use, to be honest. Maybe I'm just spoiled by Elden Ring, to be fair. Like, obviously I've been playing Dark Souls 3 for almost 10 years at this point. But, I don't know, man. It just seemed kind of lackluster. So, after doing that, like, I've done a few challenge runs of Dark Souls 1 recently. And then I've done this in Dark Souls 3, and I've been playing through Elden Ring on another account of mine. So, maybe Dark Souls 3... yeah, it's not my favourite anymore. I would say Dark Souls 1 is my favourite. Elden Ring's not my favourite. It's just fun, but it's also not a Dark Souls game, so it doesn't count. Either way, with all that said and done, thanks for watching this video. If you want to subscribe, so you're notified of new videos, do so. That'd be helpful for the channel. Trying to get to 15 hundo, I suppose. Actually, I'm trying to get to 15 million, but I doubt that's going to happen anytime soon. Like this video, because, you know, then I'll know to do more things like this. Leave a comment of another idea for a run that I could do. I'll play on PC, so mods are in the question. And, you know, I can change my character's stats at will, so if there's any goofy run ideas you have in mind, comment them down below, and I'll have a bash at them. I have not done Soul Level 1 yet in this game, so maybe not that, but yeah. Thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed it. And have a good day or night. Goodbye.